or is there a way to do both?
Well, so the way that America's economy, a free market economy works, it works off of incentives. So if you just hand somebody a check, that check it's first of all, it's going to be inefficient to actually do what you're trying to do, which is you don't want them to be able to be okay with groceries for a month. You want them to financially be able to move from lower class to middle class or middle class to upper class. You want that upward mobility. And so in order to do that, you've got to set the table with an economy that is doing well for everyone. And that's why tax cuts are so important, because it isn't about a rich guy gets more in his bank account. It is so that those with money and wealth, or even middle class, that they've got a dream to start a small business. If the tax burden comes down, then they're going to be incentivized to put their money at risk and hire people and produce a good or service or whatever it is. So there you have that. And the second thing that we've had huge pressure on is inflation. So we've got eggs that are $6, $7, $8. I mean, just ridiculous costs. So for inflation to come down, the government has to stop printing money.
Yeah.
The value of the dollar we're losing it every year, because they're handing out rebate checks, which is part of it, but I mean, they just printed money during COVID. We're just going to shut the economy down, and then we're just going to print a bunch of money, and we're going to call it the American Recovery Act, and we're going to throw money at these communities, and that is one of the biggest drivers for inflation, why our groceries and our energy and our auto insurance has just gone through the roof. Yeah. So then your folks that are struggling, they're struggling because costs are higher, and they're struggling because the economy is struggling.
Yeah.
And so those two things, if I'm coming from a government position, I'm not helping somebody with writing them a check and handing it to them, because it doesn't actually help them long term.
What about putting it? What about putting those funds instead of writing? What about putting it towards? Is there some way for the government to, and I don't like the government involved in a lot of things, but like towards driving down food costs?